Tenebrium and those interlopers met my invitation with a hostile takeover. They haven't allowed a single human miner past them in months, and meanwhile my men have all but forgotten their vocation and turned instead to their damned religion. Useless stuff, my liege, worse than common dirt, but 10 times as difficult to extract and infinitely more dangerous. If only we'd known in advance the terrible effect rot would have, we would have stopped trying to clear it immediately. Yes, a dreadful business that. I've been fortunate enough to avoid the sickness so far, my liege, but my heart truly breaks for the families of those who've been afflicted. You see, my liege, when a miner has been overlong exposed to tenebrium, he begins showing certain symptoms. Gangrene about the extremities, fatigue, malaise. At first we attributed these symptoms to, well, to poor diet, laziness, and general malingering. Had we known then what we've since discovered, we never would have continued operations. But alas, mistakes were made, and those we lost can never be brought back, no matter what that crackpot conduit would have one believe. My liege, you ought not to concern yourself with the fraudulent leader of a crackpot cult. Really, the whole affair is an utter embarrassment to Silver Glen. Some insane huckster calling herself the conduit of the goddess made her way to Silver Glen at the height of the rot hold on our miners. The people were desperate, you see. When by magic or illusion she managed to cure a handful of them of the affliction, every last one of the bunch began speaking of her as though she were some messiah. Now most of the town is taken with her little cult of immaculates, as she calls them. Fortunately for her, she disappeared shortly after her little trick. Or I would have thrown her into prison and swallowed the key myself. Imagine hypnotizing an entire town with nothing more than snake oil. Enough to know the whole institution has been a blight on productivity. With the blessings of the conduit to replace a sense of a job well done, the miners care hardly at all for getting the mines back in good working order.
Praise the goddess, I've passed the trial.
Friend, this is most excellent news. Welcome to the Immaculate Fold.
Source hunter, are you? What brings you to this neck of the woods? The goblins? The orcs? The cult? Or the whole pretty bouquet?
Over here, sweet cheeks. Oh, I'm aching to share a moment
Don't be
together.
surprised if you hear more than a few unkind words about yours truly around town. An overseer's got to enforce his share of unpopular guild decisions, you know. I'm finished with this one-pony rodeo, though. I did my best by these roughnecks, and now it's time for old Brandon to take a load off. In fact, you may be able to help speed my retirement plan along.
Let's hear the details.
I must say, I'm also intrigued.
Oh, I knew a source hunter'd perk up at the sound of a challenge.
For a moment.
Between you and me, the Troll King's sitting on a piece of treasure of more value than even he knows. A metal called tenebrium that can fetch a prettier sum than its weight in gold. I intend to lift it, sell it, and live out the rest of me days in comfort. The devil's in the details, though, and I haven't managed to find a way to access the King's Cave, much less make off with the stuff without being noticed. But you're a source hunter. You can sniff out any point of mystery. So let's make a deal, You find the tenebrium and bring it to me, and I'll deliver you a few pieces of information about Silverglen, and Lawrence in particular, that are sure... I wouldn't wish the wrath on me worst enemy, though. So let me give you a little something to contain the tenebrium bars. It's lined with the fragments of a special stone that keeps rats' ill effects at bay. Apart from Gungir's stature and incurable case of the uglies, he's not so different from a parakeet. Got a brain the size of a pea, and a fervent passion for all things bright and shiny. The nutty oaf sits on a river of silver beneath these mines, but leases it to the mining company for a fraction of its worth in gold. He'd rather put those hefty minions of his on toll duty than mine these hills himself for 5 times the reward. I can't be certain myself where his cave is located, but at least one of those oaf lackeys of his must know where to look. They've got to do something with all the gold they've gathered in the course of guarding those damn bridges, haven't they? I'm no man to refuse a source hunter. Ask away, friend. I remember him well. Decent man, strong-backed, with something of a funny accent, no? He managed to leave Silverglen alive, but as I recall, the symptoms of wrath were already upon him.
News. Welcome to the Immaculate
Lawrence
Fold.
actually invited those bug-eyed creeps here himself. The miners were dropping like flies, and goblins had more of a natural tolerance for the work. Little did we know they'd overrun the place in a matter of months. That circus rolled into town shortly after the tenebrium was discovered. Some freak woman with a freak gemstone managed to cure rot by some strange magic and convinced most of the locals that she were the conduit of the goddess, or some such tripe.
Come hither, sweetheart. Oh, if I had a star for every time you brighten my day, I'd have a galaxy in my hand.
What's business for you, anyway?
Over here, sweet
enough.
cheeks.
Would be better
I'm
if you'd glance
aching
in
to
my
share a
direction,
moment
though.
together.
Truth is, I'm a wee bit short at the moment, waiting for a particular plan of mine to pan out for now.
Come hither, sweetheart. Oh, if I had a star for every time you brighten my day, I'd have a galaxy in my hand.
A little word of warning, traveler. The lands to the north are dangerous. Creepy crawlies as large as trolls over there.
If you let me. Hi there, honey. You look like you're in dire need of some fun, and I'm just the girl to fun you.
Tell me, sweetie, do you have sunburn, or are you always this way?
No, sugar. That's a story for another day, ain't it? Speaking of, yours and mine has hardly begun. What say we get better acquainted upstairs? I've got all kinds of, details to share with you. Indeed I do. And I'm just itching to take you places you've only ever dreamed of, darling. What's a lousy 250 gold between an adventurer like you and a fine piece of tale like the one I've got in store for you? Oh, that's the spirit, sugar. Oh, gold always puts me in the mood for a little romance. Follow me.
Or if I had a star for every time
Amazing.
you brighten my day,
Our
I'd have
kind
a
can remain in
galaxy
heat
my
all
hand.
year, it seems.
So we can.
Such are our great carnal powers. That source of so much passion and folly both. Passion and folly. Synonyms, really.
Is getting shorter. Stop it! Freeze it!
Stop talking, naughty princess! Leave fuse alone or boom!
There you are, darling. Shall we get started then? So we shall, sugar. But do please ask your friend over there to give us a bit of privacy first.
Let me go, you little monster! Away with you!
There you are, darling. Shall we get started then? Oh, let's do it! But first, I need to know about your preferences, darling. You're in charge tonight, after all. So tell me, which sort best floats your boat? A savage, merciless witch? Or a gentle, sensuous nymph?
Somebody do something!
No, I was hoping you'd say that. Not every customer can handle the thrill of a mid-afternoon fright, you know. And if I'm any good at this, I'll scare the pants right off you. Come, let's make ourselves comfortable. And this witch will weave her charms.
God, the fuse is getting shorter! Stop it! Freeze it!
It was a terribly stormy night. In the tiny hut, a cauldron steamed and bubbled. A figure stood in the corner, pressing its fat, purple nose into the sharp indentation where the hut's walls met. Low muttering burbled through its jagged teeth and bloated lips. A knock, swift and sharp, fell upon the door. "Babe Orb," a small voice called. "Babe Orb, it's happening, it's time." The figure stood up straight and straightened the long, stained apron that hung about its hips.
Please, somebody do
A
something!
moment, child,
Throw
a moment.
water over the damn thing!
Orb croaked, hurrying over to the cauldron. She quickly filled 2 flasks with the swirling violet brew and stuffed them into her pouch. In a flash, she was through the hut's door, flicking 2 gold coins at the grubby child, who scrambled to retrieve them from the dark doorsteps where they fell. The wind whipped Babe Orp's hair, lashing her thick skin with thorns. But the old witch had mind for one fact alone. The counsellor was nearly dead. After some minutes, she arrived at the edges of town. Working her way into the counsellor's sick room now required
Let me
stealth,
go, you little
not
monster!
speed.
Away with
And
you!
so Babe Orp crept.
You there!
Silence.
Back off! Bicky Boom! One more step and Bicky Boom!
No, don't go! Please help me! That thing is keeping me trapped here! It's crazy! It'll kill me!
And wind her way into the crowded room where the counsellor lay dying. She cradled
Princess keep her trap shut or Bicky Boom! No folks, shoo or Bicky Boom! Last warning or Bicky Boom!
Whispering croaked, "Soon enough the counsellor will be mine." The wailing mourners around her took no notice. And that's the end of chapter 1. So cutie.
Please, somebody do something.
What do you think?
Throw a bucket of water over the damn thing.
Sure takes the edge off the suspense, doesn't it? Oh well. This has been a pleasure, darling. Come find me again any old time.
You there! Back off! Picky ball!
No, don't go! Please. Calm down. We're not coming any closer. Let's just talk about this.
Yes, don't worry, miss. We'll get you out of this fix somehow.
Princess, keep her trap shut! Oh, Picky!
Gods, the fuse is getting shorter. Stop it! Freeze it!
Stop talking, naughty princess! Let's use our
Glacial gusts.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. You saved my life. It was that cur of a Frederick that did this to me. He locked me in here with that ridiculous creature.
Dear me, I need to get out of this room. Yes, I'll go downstairs to catch a breath of fresh air, but do come and talk to me again if you want to hear more about what transpired here. My thanks once more, sweet hero.
There you are, darling. Shall we get started then? Oh, let's do it. But first, I need to know about your preferences, darling. You're in charge tonight, after all. So tell me, which sort best floats your boat? Oh, I was hoping you'd say that. It was a terribly stormy night. In the tiny hut, a cauldron steamed and bubbled. A figure stood in the corner, pressing its fat, purple nose into the sharp indentation where the hut's walls met. Low muttering burbled through its jagged teeth and bloated lips. A knock, swift and sharp, fell upon the door. "Babe Orb!" a small voice called. "Babe Orb! It's happening! It's time!" The figure stood up straight and straightened the long, stained apron that hung about its hips. "A moment, child, a moment!" Babe Orb croaked, hurrying over to the cauldron. She quickly filled 2 flasks with the swirling violet brew and stuffed them into her pouch. In a flash, she was through the hut's door, flicking 2 gold coins at the grubby child, who scrambled to retrieve them from the dark doorsteps where they fell. The wind whipped Babe Orb's hair, lashing her thick skin with thorns. But the old witch had mind for one fact alone. The counsellor was nearly dead. After some minutes, she arrived at the edges of town. Working her way into the counsellor's sick room now required stealth, not speed. And so Babe Orb crept, silent as a cat, between alley and square until she came to the doors of his old, silent mansion. It was nearly easy for the witch to sidle in, masked in a simple wallflower charm, and wind her way into the crowded room where the counsellor lay dying. She cradled her flask in her arms, enjoyed their warm sloshing, and awaited the final moment. Soon, she whispering croaked, soon enough the counsellor will be mine. The wailing mourners around her took no notice. And that's the end of chapter 1. So cutie. What do you think? Oh, I bet you could use a pipe, couldn't you? A few puffs sure takes the edge off the suspense, doesn't it? Oh well. This has been a pleasure, darling. Come find me again any old time.
If only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and dangerous you've become.
You startled me. Let me compose myself. Hello, stranger. How can I help you? He's Will? But that means he's... Oh, no. Oh, not my cutie... Broody buttercup.
Watch where you're going. These beauties will pierce you to the bone. So, do you fancy a trade then? Come now, before my ale arrives. Ever shot a bullseye in your sleep? Well, no wonder with your skill book as empty as all that.
Come hither, sweetheart, or if I had a star Come hither, sweetheart, or if I had a star for every time you brighten my day, I have a galaxy in my mind.
Over here, sweetie.
Tell me, sweetie, you have someone, or are you always?
Praise the goddess. I've passed the trial.
Friend, this is most
Dear. You'll hardly impress the conduit with such a clouded look about your eyes. But not to fear, not to fear. I've just the potion for that.
Oh. You haven't any ale, have ya? Well, never mind for now. What sort of magical relics can I offer ya? Blessed by the goddess they are, each and all.
Give one of the comfort folk a visit, if you're in the mood. I recommend Ruby for her imagination. But Ramon's fierce as a wildcat, if that interests you.
Quite a fine skeleton beneath that hide of yours, isn't there? Yes, a lovely, sturdy thing. I bet it'll last 100 generations, if treated properly.
You believe in the gods, baby? Is you the answer to all my dreams? Come hither, sweetheart, or if I had a star for every time you brighten my day, I'd have a galaxy in my mind. Come hither, sweetheart, or if I had a star for every time you brighten my day, I'd have a galaxy in my mind. Hey there, tall and strong. Up for a little roll in the hay?
Not today, Ramon.
Twice as me.
Not in the mood.
Over here, sweet cheeks.
On the side of a bridge, your owner.
Better that than reeking of fresh blood.
Oh, my hero! My heart is still racing. That little monster's face haunts me every time I so much as blink. Bonnie's my name, and I am, or rather I was, a lover for hire. Folks would come to me when they were in need of some company, conversation, and more intimate desires. but this fiasco has put an end to it. I'll never set another foot into a client's room, not on my life. Yes? Search me. He's a regular of mine, with rather eccentric tastes, I might add. He always wants me to wear a grey wig, for example, and walk with a cane. But I digress. Anyway, he recently spent the night again, and I couldn't sleep because of his muttering. He talked something awful all through the night. In the morning, I told him he had gone on and on about some Meridino character and a supposedly secret treasure lair somewhere in the woods. Next thing I knew, he flew into a rage, said the treasure was his and his alone, and that I was nothing but a meddling care. I was just about to let him know I won't stand for such language when he pulled that monster of a bicky out of his satchel and told the little gnome to guard the princess and to go boom if I tried to escape. I spent hours of horrid fear up in that room until you saved me. Nothing much, I'm afraid, but go ahead. I'll answer what I can. I haven't been immaculate for a long time now, darling. And if I see what passes for immaculate here in town, I don't want to join the club anew either. Give me fun, not fanaticism. Give me zeal, not zealotry. These people, I honestly don't know what has gotten into them. I used to, you know. Merchants came and went. They paid well and gave me gifts. Fewer and fewer of them travel here now because of the undead around Seal and the goblins holed up in the mines. Times are hard for a working girl, to tell you the truth. But where would I go? There's danger to be found everywhere these days. These bedeviled days.
For a particular plan of mine to plan out for now.
Do you believe in the gods, baby? Because you're the answer to all my prayers.
Goddess greetings, friend. Her greatness gave us fire, her greatness gave us earth, and my savvy brings you spells at the best rate in town. Come, give me your best offer.
Where the wind blows, the goddess breathes. Where the rivers run, the goddess weeps. How can I connect you to our eternal goddess, my friend?
Tell me, sweetie, you had some...